Hi, welcome to this session of ACCA F5 Performance Management. Today we shall be looking at a question from the June 2011 exam. I would encourage you to download the paper. Simply go to accaglobal.com and download this paper. Read through question which is called hit core. Okay, so please pause the video right now, go to the ACCA website and read through question called hit core. It is question 2. It's called hit core. But remember, you can give me some feedback. Email address as always is john.ntende@gmail.com. Now this question relates to pricing, so I'd also encourage you to first review the topic on pricing. It's also combined with learning curves, so I'd expect you to do some theory on learning curves. I've already done an example on learning curves, so today we shall just try and do a real exam question relating to pricing and how your current examiner is most likely going to set your question. So the first thing you want to do in F5 is to look at the requirement. Okay, so as you can see, it is a 20 mark question, and of course there are two parts. So your current examiner likes to break down the question, not to make things very hard. So part 1 is establish the demand function. And we know that even without reading the question in detail, the demand function is always given by P is equal to A minus BQ. So I'm assuming you right now you know what this is. So just some theory. P is the price. A is the price at which demand is equal to 0. B is the change in price over change in quantity, and Q is the quantity. And Q is the quantity demanded. So that's the demand function. Then marginal cost. Remember, marginal cost is simply the variable cost. Okay. And part 3, they're telling us to equate the marginal cost, which is the variable cost, and should equal to the marginal revenue. Remember, the marginal revenue was equal to A minus 2BQ. So by solving for this function, we're able to find what the Q is, and then we substitute it back into the price function to give us the price. Then part B, we have a general discussion of what penetration pricing is. Now briefly, penetration pricing is simply you charge a low price to gain market share. And then skimming, basically what you're doing for skimming is charge a high price and usually it applies for unique products. So that's it, 20 marks. Okay? So even before reading through, you should have in your mind a framework which you're going to use to handle the question, and this is what we've been trying to do. Okay? So we're going to try and establish the demand function. So let's go back and read through the question. So what do we need to concentrate on? So HITCO specializes in the production of a range of conditioning units. Okay? It is about to launch a new product. Now, when they say new product, what should immediately come to your mind is that when they say new product, what should come to your mind is that probably they should use market skimming. Remember, market skimming works for unique products. So a unique product is usually something new, okay? So we've been told that the technology is unique. Technology is unique. Hope you can all see this. Technology is unique. So which is still pointing to skimming, okay? And it has been patented. So when they say patented, what it means, what should come to your mind is barriers of entry. So when it's patented, what it means is we have barriers of entry. Barriers of, which means that you can charge a high price because the competition isn't there. I mean, these are all pointers to skimming. So when eventually the examiner tells you to suggest, okay, and discuss whether either strategy might be suitable for HITCO when launching the area. So already you're thinking of answering the last bit, okay? The product will have a 5-year cycle. This is indicative of a short life cycle. So you need to look at the pricing strategy. These guys are going to come in and get out of the market very fast. That means you need a pricing strategy which optimizes their profit, still pointing to skimming. So your examiner is pointing you to skimming. So if at the end of the day you suggest that they should use penetration, then clearly you've not studied pricing and understood it, okay? So they're trying to ascertain the best pricing policy, okay? Demand is very responsive to price changes, okay? And research has established that for every $15 increase in price, demand would be expected to fall by 1,000 units. If the company set the price, now, for every $15 increase in price, the demand would fall by 1,000. That means we were told that B is equal to change in price divided by change in quantity demanded. So change in price, we've been told this is $15. And the quantity is, that means the value of B is equal to 0.015. Okay, is that clear? Remember, what we're trying to do is to find this equation. P is equal to A minus BQ. Now, next we've been told that when the price, when the price is 735, when P is equal to 735, Q is equal to it's right here. Q is equal to 1,000 units. And we've just calculated A to equal to 0.015. So by substituting here, we can get the value of, rather we've calculated the value of B. We've calculated that B is equal to 0.015. So if we substitute into this, we're going to have 735 is going to equal to A minus B, which is 0.015 times Q, which is equal to 1000. So what does this mean? So if we solve this equation, what we're going to have is 735 is going to equal to A minus 0.015 times 1000 is equal to, what's that equal to? Use a calculator. That is simply 15. Meaning that 735 minus 15 is equal to A, which is equal to, if you simply use a calculator, A is equal to 750. So our A right here is equal to 750, meaning that the demand function is P is equal to 750 minus B, which is 0.015 Q. And so that is the answer to part A. Okay, that seems pretty forward. I hope it actually is what? Straight forward. Okay, so you see I've done part A without even reading this part of the question, you see. So that's the way to do a very long SC number. You don't try and do everything at the same time, okay? So you see, just by reading the first bits, I'm able to do part A, okay? Now we move on. Calculate the marginal cost. Okay, what we're trying to do is part. We're trying to do a part. Calculate the marginal cost for each air conditioning unit after adjusting the labor cost as required by the note above. So that's when things become complicated. You examiner like complicated things. Remember the marginal cost, what we're trying to do is to find, remember I've told you that the marginal cost, okay, is simply equal to the variable cost. So in economic theory, marginal always means what it costs us to make an additional unit, or in case of revenue, how much revenue do you get for an additional unit. So it is something over and above. So and in this case will be the variable cost. So already if we are looking at marginal cost, fixed overheads, okay, basically these ones you eliminate. You don't, they're not part of variable cost. So the marginal cost will be the summation of the direct materials, okay, plus the labor cost. So that's basically it. So we already have the direct materials, okay. Now the note refers to labor. So labor, now that's where things get confusing. So let's just take some time to read, okay, this. So we have the first air conditioning unit took 1.5 hours. The labor cost is $8 per hour. Then they introduced something called a 95% learning curve. Now you must be thinking this examiner is really unfair, or why the hell would she say something like this, okay? But not to despair, everything can be learned, okay? Don't despair. All it takes is just knowing a little bit of learning curves, okay? Now some basic theory. The learning curve is simply this, okay? Okay? So for instance, if this is the time, what the learning curve theory states that as the volume, okay, as the output increases, okay, as the output increases, the time taken to produce a particular unit goes down. Think of it this way. If you're going to run a 5-kilometer marathon, okay, in 2 months' time, but you've never run a marathon like that, and you decide to practice, okay, for it. So the first time it will probably take you, let's say, 1 hour, okay, the first day. The next day it will probably take you 58 minutes. So as you keep on running and learning, okay, the time to finish a particular task reduces. So it's the same thing with ACCA. The more you practice, the better you get at answering the question. So that is simply called the learning curve theory. And if we plot the time taken, the average time taken per unit, and the output, the curve, we can approximate it to be this exponential curve right here. And the theory of learning curves states that the equation will be like this. So this equation is usually given in your exam. What you need to know is what the figures mean, okay? Now, y, okay, y is equal to cumulative average time per unit. Time per unit. Okay? A means time taken for the first unit. Time taken for first unit. Then x, okay, is the cumulative number of units. So this is simply number of units. And b, okay, is the learning index. Now it has already been given to us, so it has already been given. But if it's not given, then you can get it by, it is the logarithm of the learning rate. This is learning rate divided by the logarithm of 2. So on your calculator there is something called a logarithm. So in this case the learning index will be the log. The learning rate, remember, was given as, if we go back to the question, what was the learning rate? So are you seeing the learning rate? 95%. So the learning rate you use here is, okay, you have to use decimals, otherwise you'll get a very funny answer, over log of 2. Okay, and to approximate to the answer which is given in our case. Okay, so back to the note. What are we trying to do? Okay, they're telling us the pricing decisions. Any pricing decisions should be based on time it takes to make the 100th unit of the product. Okay, so we need to use learning curve theory to determine, okay, the cost or the time taken for the 100th unit. The time taken for 100th unit. So cost 100th unit going to be total cost of first 100 units minus total cost of first 99 units. Okay, please note this is very critical because going forward we're going to always be referring to this. Okay, so let's first start with the average time. Okay, let's first try and get the average time per unit for first 100 units. Remember, we're going to use the learning curve theory, where y is equal to ax b. X is equal to 100. B has been given. Can you see where B is coming from? B is right here. Are you seeing this figure? Please don't round it off. Use it as it has been given. If you round it off, the answer will be distorted. So we've been given B as 0, negative, 0.074 000 5. A is the time of the first unit, okay, and it is equal to 1.5. Can you see the 1.5? Let's try and see where the 1.5 is. Okay, where is the 1.5? Can you see the 1.5? It is right here. Can you see it? This figure I'm highlighting right now. Okay, this here is A. It is equal to 1.5. So let's substitute and find what y is equal to. Okay, so y is equal to 1.5 times 100 to the power 0.074,005. Now, please try and use your calc. Make sure you can do this. Try and use this calc to make sure you can do this. So the answer you get should be 1.066817. Please don't round off so much. It can distort the answer. Usually try to use the same number of decimal places as the value of B which has been given. I think if you do that, you'll be on the safe side. Try to use the same number of decimal places. So that's the average time per unit. So if you have an average time per unit, you need to get the total time for 100 units. And of course, we simply multiply 100 times the average time per unit, which we've already calculated as. And the answer is simply 106.68178. Okay, that means the cost for 100 units is the time taken, 106.68178, times the cost per unit. What's the cost per unit? Or the cost per unit time. And it is right here. Can you see this figure here? $8 per hour. Remember, we're trying to get the total cost of 100 units. Okay? Times 8. So when you apply that, what do you get? 853. Please try and use your calc. Make sure you have these figures. So that's the cost for 100 units. So let's now try and get the average cost. Average cost per unit. For the first 99 units. Okay, so we need to find the average time per unit first. Remember, y is equal to ax to the power b. A we've been given is 1.5. X's time is 99. This time we're raising to the power. Remember, what's the value of b? Zero point 0.074005. So if you use a calc, I wonder if this small calc of mine can raise something to that. I doubt. So you need to use a much better calculator than this, the scientific calculator. So this should give us something like 1.067611.5. So meaning that the cost per unit. Now you notice the computation is slightly different from the one above, but eventually you come to the same thing. So remember, the cost per hour is 8. Okay, so this should give us 8.5409. Please check in with your calc, make sure this is accurate. So what this means is that the cost for 99 units will obviously be 8.5409 times 99, and this should give us 845.55. So once we are there, therefore cost of 100th unit will equal to, remember what the cost for 100 units was? 853.45 minus 845.55, which gives us about 7.9. So that is the cost of the 100th item. So meaning that the marginal cost, okay, is equal to material cost plus labor. So what was the material cost? Let's try and find the material cost. So the material cost is 42. So we shall just go and substitute that. 42. So the material cost is 42 plus the labor cost now is 7.90. Remember, this is the 7.990. And what does this give us? 49.90. So there is your marginal cost. So we've answered. Let's just go back and make sure we're answering the right question. There's a danger of getting lost in the numbers. So we finished part 2. We've calculated the marginal cost for each air conditioning unit as required by the note above. So now we're going to do part 3 to try and find the optimum price and quantity. Okay, so that is something quite easy. Of course, it can only be easy once you've practiced, otherwise it becomes very difficult. Okay, so part 3, we're trying to equate marginal cost to marginal revenue. Remember, we do this to try and find the optimum price. So the marginal cost has been given us, we've found it as 49.9. The marginal revenue, remember, is given as P minus 2. Beg your pardon. The marginal revenue is given as A minus 2BQ. Now you'll note that this is usually provided in the exam. So it's A minus 2BQ. Okay? And you remember we already found A and B. Do you remember that? Do you remember that we found A and B? Right here. Can you see this? Can you see this? We found A and B. So B is 0.015 and A is equal to 750. So we're going to plug them inside here and try and solve this equation. Okay, so 49.9 will equal to 750 minus 2 times 0.015 Q, and then try and solve for now, which is the easiest way to do this? Now, to remove this negative, I can bring now this is all level mathematics. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this side. I'm going to take this side. So I'm going to have 2 times 0.015 is equal to 750. Remember, when a number crosses the equal sign, the sign changes. Okay? Okay, so that's where we are right now. So 2 by this gives us 0.03Q, and when you subtract these two figures, you get a figure close to 0.1. Then you divide both sides by 0.03. So the optimum quantity Q is equal to a figure close to get the price, remember price is equal to A minus BQ. So we said A is equal to 750 minus 0.015 times the value of Q now is 23,337. Remember, I'm getting this from here. So the price is about 399.95. So we've answered the question. That's all. We've answered the question. We've answered the question. The next bit, I won't go into much detail, but just to expound on some of the issues we had raised earlier on. Okay? What the examiner is looking for is, you see, we have 8 marks. We have 8 marks, so you try and get as many as you can. So you try and divide the question. 1, we're explaining what is meant by penetration pricing and market skimming. Now those we've already defined, and I won't define this again. So we defined penetration, we defined skimming, and discuss whether either strategy might be suitable for HITCO when launching the energy buster. So now, like I intimated earlier, the best strategy here would be skimming. 1, because it is a unique product, as we've been told. Okay, we've been told it has a short life cycle, 5 years. We've been told it is patented, meaning no competition. Okay, so for these factors, just for these factors here, okay, we can conclude that skimming is the better option. But you don't just leave it at that, you also try to say why penetration wouldn't work. Penetration wouldn't work because, 1, from the information, we are not sure if there are what they call economies of scale. So for penetration, what you're trying to do is you're trying to build demand. Okay, you're trying to build demand, you're trying to build volume, so you charge a low price. Okay, so that brief discussion can get you 5-6 marks. So the question is to try and answer the question as it is. So you've explained, so clearly you explained what penetration was. Okay, you've explained penetration, you've explained skimming, you've discussed whether either strategy might be suitable. We've concluded that skimming is the better option. Why? Because of 3 things which have been talked about. The product is unique, it's a short life cycle, it is patented. And you've discarded penetration because we are not sure from the information given that there are economies of scale. So a simple write-up like this would probably get you 6-7 marks, which is enough to pass the exam. I'd like to end on that note. Please, if you have some questions, don't be afraid to contact me. Remember, my email is simply john.ntende john.ntende@gmail.com. So please, you can reach me on john.ntende@gmail.com, and I'm sure I'll be able to answer your question. Okay, so till next time, wish you the best in your forthcoming exams. Okay, so I'll sign off. Bye.